Welcome to historic Vicksburg, Mississippi, and thank you for visiting, especially for visiting us here at Anchuca. The property you are about to tour is part of Vicksburg's Old Town neighborhood, which was once called Spring Hill. Established in the 1820s, Spring Hill's southern colonial structures and gracious Greek Revival townhouses are now standing tributes to the town's rich antebellum history. My name is Mary Lou Halpin, and I lived in this house from my birth in 1931 until I was 19 or 20 years old. It was bought by my grandfather in the early 1920s. And I might add also that the house was not nearly so elegant as it is today, much of which is due to the present owners, Tom Thaw and Chris Brinkley. With humble beginnings as a wood frame pioneer home, today the home is a fine example of Vicksburg's antebellum buildings. The original wood structure was built by a local politician, J.W. Malden, in the Federal style. Anchuca represents an elegant townhouse, as would befit a wealthy merchant of the day, rather than the palatial plantation home of the planter class. Anchuca, which is Choctaw for happy home, represents the first of the columned mansions built in Vicksburg, most notably the last home of wealthy planter Joseph Emory Davis of Hurricane Plantation in Warren County. Joseph Davis is a patriarchal brother of Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederacy, who, while visiting his brother following his release from federal prison, spoke to friends from Anchuca's balcony in 1869. Joseph Emory Davis and his granddaughter lived the remaining years of his life at Anchuca. He died here in 1870 at the age of 87. In the entry hall, the original ceiling medallion with its acanthus leaf pattern adorns the room. The Federal-style mirror dates from the late 1700s. The Empire pier table in rosewood mahogany with white Carrara marble top and mirror below would have been used in a larger scale space, typically with a decorative mirror above. Mirrors were used to bring more light into rooms. Let us now go into the ladies' parlor, the room that is to your immediate left as you enter the house. Here we have another original ceiling medallion. Local artists produced these medallions by mixing three key ingredients: marble dust, horsehair, and molasses. We should note that while most of the architectural elements, such as the hot pine floors in the 1847 edition, fireplace mantels, crown molding, and the cypress floors in the 1830s house are original, none of the original furnishings remain. Period antiques have been used to provide an idea of how the house would have been furnished. A very modern feature of the house is a cast-iron coal-burning fireplace. Anchuca is one of the first homes in Vicksburg to use coal for heat, thanks to Mr. Wilson. The Broadwood & Sons mahogany piano was made in London in 1858. The American Empire Secretary of Rosewood mahogany dates from the late 1830s to the early 1840s. In their original frames, the English paintings date 1810 and are considered wedding portraits of nobles. The window treatments are historically correct patterns and were made in New Orleans in the late 1970s. The water-stained silk and damask fabrics are Scalamandra, and the fringe is Olay of Paris. As we move up into the dining room, the French bronze gasolier is representative of what would have been used to light formal rooms. These fixtures burned whale oil, but this one has been wired for electricity. The sterling Sheffield apron on the dining room table dates from 1815. The mirror is Victorian and dates 1850. The rosewood mahogany serving board dates from the 1850s, and the cabinet below would have been used for food storage. The china in the break front is Limoges, and the pattern is Fabergé's Empress Elizabeth. England's House of Windsor coronation cups are displayed on the shelf above the sideboard, starting with Queen Victoria in 1837 to the current monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. Notice the coronation cup of Edward VIII. His coronation memorabilia was to have been destroyed because he abdicated the throne in 1937 and his coronation never took place. On the way into the library, stop and notice the uniqueness of the stairway and look up at the beautifully decorated arch and the exquisite stained glass side lights and transom surrounding the upper balcony door. The stained glass, imported from Europe, is original and was made by a process using pure gold and mercury. Now, to the library to look at the Civil War and early Native American artifacts found on the large piano table that dates from the 1830s. If you'll turn and face the gentleman's parlor, note two very rare prints by Audubon. Both are engraved, printed, and colored by R. Havell in London and date from 1832. The saber mounted on the wall to the left dates from 1860 and was a U.S. cavalry sword. The sword mounted on the wall to the right is from 1870 and was used by the Knights of Columbus in ceremonies in Vicksburg. Go down to the gentleman's parlor, where the most notable piece is the chandelier, which is Sèvres porcelain and gilded bronze, dating from about 1780, and would have used beeswax candles, but has been wired for electricity. The mirror above the mantel is mahogany with bronze accents and is from the Restoration period of France. The needlework rug design is French Empire and was done by hand. The style of the window treatments was copied from the Blue Room in the White House and allowed the beautiful Greek Revival millwork with Gothic influences to be emphasized. The contemporary art throughout the library and the gentleman's parlor are the works of Vicksburg native William Tolliver. Tolliver's brilliant self-taught style of work is on permanent exhibit in the Smithsonian and is highly sought after and collected. If you wish, you may proceed upstairs to view the balcony from where Jefferson Davis made his address in 1869. Please understand that the upstairs rooms are reserved for our B&B guests and are not on tour unless otherwise informed in the reception areas upon arrival. Feel free to ask any staff member questions that you may have regarding the home's fine antiques and art collection. Also, if you would like some services about Vicksburg, they are well informed on that also. Thank you for touring and helping preserve Anchuca.